Um, Hey everyone, welcome. I'm so excited to be here live tonight with Jessica. Jessica, can you just tell us all about yourself? First of all, who you are, what you do, where you're from.
So I'm Jessica, everybody. I'm originally from Staten Island, New York, and I ended up in Maryland because I met my husband in college, although we were only friends back then. Yeah, we went to Penn State, and then eventually, over time, you get older and whatever. And he's from Maryland, so and he used to live in Annapolis, so that kind of was a draw to me. But I'm a special education teacher. So I used to work in Elizabeth, New Jersey, and then I got a job in Montgomery County. And I've been there 12 years, long time. I've been teaching like 20 years, which is like terrible. I'm like, oh my goodness.
I know it's like I don't realize how old I am. So, Jessica, tell us what was going on with your health, with your mood, prior to starting the midlife makeover program.
Yeah, so I don't know. I've always kind of went back and forth, which is probably not the best thing to do, like in life with dieting and just messages from family, friends, even just our world. Like, oh, you should lose weight. Oh, try this diet. Oh, fast. Oh, whatever. Oh, do Jenny Craig, which I did. Do Weight Watchers, which I did. So it was always like back and forth. And my health, I don't know, it was okay, but I had a lot of weird things happen. So I don't know if that was from growing up in New York, like Staten Island, because we have to dump and like chemicals and things, and also probably diet. Like I've had tumors, I've had major surgery, I had a tumor on my pancreas when I was like 29 years old, which is pretty scary.
Mhm.
Yeah, and the doctor's like, you have a 30% chance of cancer. And you're like, what? I've had a weird ankle tumor. So yeah, I just get all kinds of weird things. And actually, even before I started you guys, I somehow had a cholesteatoma. I don't know if people know what that is, but some sort of growth. I don't know. Something I guess my tubes in my ears weren't working properly, but I didn't realize that for years. So yes, and then I would go back and forth so with weight gaining. So then I was feeling tired and I don't know, just not a lot of energy. I didn't really felt like when I looked at myself in the mirror that I looked like the person I used to be. Because for a while before I had a kid, before some of the health stuff, I would work out. I was eating, I guess, pretty well based on just knowledge, I guess, from online and things. Not because anyone actually was like, here, this is what you should do. Even though some of those other diets, at least for me, no one said like, it was here's the points, but didn't explain like why the points were that way, right? Or like you should eat a lot of protein or you should eat less of this. They were just like, here, do that. And so it kind of worked, but then after a while you kind of get tired of like counting points or Jenny Craig, right? Eat our food. And sometimes their food is really small. I'm like, I'm hungry.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's very typical. People like trying a lot of different things, kind of the yo-yo. So,
Yo-yo, that's the word. So yeah, that was
yeah.
me. Um,
Share
so yeah.
share with us your biggest win since you started the program. So you're about 3 months in. What are your biggest wins?
Well, it should be that I look better, but I look better. Just to myself, I was like, but that wasn't the main reason why I did this. It was how I would feel. And I do feel like so much better. Like I had a car accident a while ago, but like every once in a while I would have like back issues. And since I've started like Sarah's strength training and really working on the core more, which they've always told me to do, a chiropractor would say that. And I kind of did it, but I don't know. Hers was like, I don't know, made it like easier. And so I'm like, oh, I have less back pain. My ankle's been feeling pretty good. I've gone to concerts, spent on a whole night on my feet and dancing and did not feel tired. Went on a field trip with my son last week and did not come home overly exhausted. Yeah, I was still a little tired, but there were times like even as a teacher, I'd be like, man, those field trips will wipe you out. Which way just your nerves, because like teacher, you don't want to lose kids. We're in a big public place, but that you're walking all over the place. And again, making sure you're with the kids, who's this, who's got this person. So, but I was like, oh, I didn't feel as bad this time. And I definitely could have, I still came home and even did my workout.
So more energy. You've lost
Still more
20 pounds.
energy.
in 3 months. And I forgot to say, light up the comments for Jessica for being here and sharing her story because we want to give her a lot of money. So for every comment, she gets $1 towards Target, I believe. So we want to send her on a shopping spree. So, okay.
Love
So
that.
you've done really well. You shared with our group just how well you've done. And I love that you really focused on your energy because so many people, I feel like they don't realize just how low their energy is until they get their energy back. I would love for you to share with us, like before you started this journey, what were you fearful about? Like, what were you kind of afraid of before you started this
Um,
journey?
that was gonna be really hard for some reason. I don't know why. Like, oh, I have to eat certain things or count. But the apps make that easier. So there's that. But it's not like the Weight Watch is weird. Like, and then you have to convert points. It's just literally like, oh, how many calories? Let me think about that. Or how much protein do I need? And it makes it nice and color coded so you could see. So I could be like, oh. And then even just your group, just like the tips, which you would think some people, at least I would think, oh, I should have thought of that before. But just people saying, oh, know what, I planned out my meal, or we're gonna go out to this restaurant tonight. So look at the menu beforehand and get an idea. It's like, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. So maybe for lunch, I'll be smarter about this and eat my breakfast so I could, have a little more freedom at dinner with my friends or have that extra room for a little wine or something. Um, and not that I was like the biggest drinker, but I realized my body and alcohol don't always mix so well. I'll be honest, people, like the few times I had a couple of drinks and I didn't go crazy or anything, I'm talking like high noon or two or a glass of wine or two, nothing, I would maybe maintain that week or a tiny bit, like, what the heck? But the weeks where I was like, nope, no alcohol, I don't need to do that. We have nothing crazy going on. Then I would lose like 2, 3 pounds. I'm like, that's so weird. So I'm learning from my own body, and the more the science is out there. I'm not saying you shouldn't all have a good time or have a drink or two, but I guess science is true that it's really not that great for you.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
need
I
it.
mean,
Like I'm feeling energized and been doing more meditation, trying to find other ways so that when I feel stressed, it's not like, oh, let me go home and have a glass of wine. It's let me do something
yeah,
for health and even mentally productive. It's more productive to take a few minutes to breathe or say a prayer than to, you know, drink wine or eat a bunch of candy or a bunch of chips that later you feel bad about. So I used to do that
yeah.
too. Or starve
That's
so much to be good, and then you go home and I'm like, now I'm starving. I'm just gonna eat anything because I've done. And then,
yeah.
oh, why did I do that at 10 o'clock? Why did I eat like 5 Oreos? That was bad.
That is very, very good advice. I'm not like there's nothing that is ever off limits, but I do agree with you is that setting some alcohol limits, especially during a fat loss phase, is super important. How did this experience kind of help you overcome your original fears of thinking that it was going to be so hard?
Um, I don't know, the group was really helpful. You guys like responding is just super helpful and just, I don't know, I'm just like, I'm gonna do this. I committed some time, some money, like let's do it. Like, we're not gonna just try to overly mess around. Life is life. I went to a wedding while I started this away, which is like, oh, but you know what? But then I realized it is about choices and not making yourself feel bad, but just being like, what's a better choice today? And you know what? Maybe I had a little too much fun last night, but it's a new day the next day. You don't have to stay stuck in the spiral, I guess, that I would sometimes get stuck in. Or in the past, I would try to be too. Again, I didn't know anything about nutrition, so they'd be like, no carbs. So I would try to do that, and then I lose a little weight, and then literally once you go back to like, well, I'm really tired of eating all this carbless stuff. I would like real pasta, and then I went overboard. So your programs teach me like you don't have to do that, and I've rediscovered foods I used to like, and just like, oh, it feels better to be healthier, or a salad can be more than just lettuce because I don't like spend lots of time to make things. So it's like, oh, if I find some like canned corn, I could throw that in and just like cut up like the grape tomatoes and just a few little things that doesn't take that much longer. I'm like, oh, this is a much better salad and it's more filling too because you're adding in like good foods. So I learned that like good foods for me at least, it does taste good, but then I feel good the next day. Or
I love that you said that about there's so many things you touched upon. So like from a mindset perspective, um, how you used to kind of if you went overboard, you said you used to spiral. And now that start every day as a new day, every meal is a new meal. That is a huge, huge
That's what I was
mindset.
doing before. And now I know like we like to cook at the holidays, but it was just like, oh, I made all these cookies every day. I was like, all this best. And I, again, you should bake for the holidays, right? You
Correct.
should do your family. You should enjoy your Christmas or if you celebrate Hanukkah, whatever holiday. But it doesn't need to become a 2 week event. It can be the one day, which I learned. Like even at Easter, I had my piece of Easter candy. It was delicious. And I had my meal, but I didn't go crazy. And the next day was, okay, let's get back into what we're, supposed to do. I also learned a good thing about breakfast on your program. I mean, I always ate breakfast because I'm one of those people I can't like go like
Same. I love,
eating
yeah.
something. Some people can go like a whole morning, and I'm always like, how? But I didn't realize like why you should be put together, the protein aspect, where you can find that. And like, so I would eat just too much cereal or, again, and then I should have weighed things too. So I've learned to do that. Not perfect, but it's important sometimes to do that.
Well, I mean, clearly, when we always say progress or perfection, you've lost 20 pounds in 3 months, so being perfect isn't the answer, right? So I'd love for you to share, like, how is this different than anything you've done before, and what was your favorite part about it?
Hmm. What was helpful are the exercises. They're not, so that was the other thing. I used to think you had to exercise like a zillion hours a week, and I would try, be like, if I just do 30 minutes, and then I don't know, just maybe my expectations were too high, and then I almost set myself up to fail. Be like, how am I getting to the gym? Like, I have a son, he has some things going on, so we do a lot of stuff for school, like tutoring and speech, and then I try to get him in sports and things. So I mean, it's like every night, like Monday's drum lessons, today was tutoring.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, maybe baseball practice. It's supposed to rain now. Thursday speech, Fridays. It's like every day is.
Yeah.
So I'm like, where do I have time? And I would think I have to go to the gym. Well, that takes time to drive there. It takes time to get changed. Like even in the morning, and I'm like, but I'm tired. Like I'm on the go till like 9 o'clock at night. And at 9 o'clock, I don't want to go work out. But Sarah's were really easy videos. Like I'm not a gym person, so I don't know half the terms, but oh, let me watch the video. And you could watch it as many times as you need to try to, get it right. Or you feel like, oh, now I know what that movement was supposed to be or whatever. And the fact they're like 25 minutes and I do it in my bedroom. Sometimes I let them stay at aftercare a little longer and like it's fine because I need me time. I learned that too. And that's okay because he's having fun and I pay for it anyway. So might as well. And then do that. But even now, like just, oh, I gotta do some abs. It's only like 15 minutes to do that. So people can make 15 minutes. People, and it really made a difference. I feel like, wow, I look like I work out like all the time. And I don't. I've never had that happen. So I definitely did not know what to do at the gym. You guys taught me like you don't have to do hours of cardio because I used to do that. And then I'd be hungry. So I learned from your program too that, you don't like strength training is actually really important. I used to hate it because I didn't know what to do when you go to see those machines in the gym. Like, I don't know. And then you see these bulky men. You're like, I have no idea. And I'm not going to ask them what to do. So I love that, first of all, it's females, not that I'm against men, but it's nice to have women my age be like, this is what you have to do. It's not that long. You could squeeze in 20 minutes here, a half hour there, you're good. So I was a little nervous about that part, like, would I be able to exercise properly or whatever? But I'm like, yeah, I can. This isn't so bad.
Yeah. I love that. So, I'm
All right, I touched on a
curious.
lot of stuff.
I know that you had been one of those people who were following for a while, right? So I would love for you to tell us, what would you say to someone who has been following me for a while, right? And they're thinking about doing the program, but they hadn't pulled the trigger yet. What would you say to someone like that?
Um, you should seriously think about it. It's okay to invest in yourself. And it's not as hard as you think. And that there really is a really nice community and they're really not mean people. Like they're in sound really. They're honest, but they're very what's the word? Like positive. Positive. It's never like, oh, that was bad or you shouldn't have done that. I mean, but they're gonna be real too. Like for me, because I've been pretty good, they didn't have to be as real with me at times, but there were times I said some negative things and they were like, nope, we're gonna move on, or so but it's helpful. It's helpful to have that. And I feel like having you guys nearby and the videos, it also holds yourself accountable. and making me weigh myself every week, making me take pictures, which at first I did not like to do, but now I'm like, I'm glad I do. And I look at it, I'm like, oh wow, I could really see a difference. Or measuring. And then it's like, okay, ooh, that was bad. And I was like, wow, now I look a lot better. I mean, I even got a compliment from my assistant principal a few weeks ago saying, like, you look like you've lost. I don't like to, people get weird about talking about your weight for some reason. I'm like, it's fine. She goes, but I don't want to say like you lost weight. I'm like, you look fit. And that was like the coolest compliment because no one's ever said, oh, you look fit. Because I'd rather look fit. I don't want to be skinny per se. I want to look fit and healthy and active and feel good.
That's an amazing compliment when people tell you you look fit. And I love what you said about Sarah and I about like being real. And holding you accountable to your goals, right? When you tell me this is what I want my goal to be. And yeah, we will tell you, like, if you've had whatever, quote unquote, what you think is a bad day, we will tell you, move on. And to me, that's the biggest thing is like, how we navigate real life because real life is going to happen. And you can still lose 20 pounds in 3 months and sustain it during real life. And that's part of the coaching. So if
And that's the
you
other learning I've learned. And
yeah.
I've really learned to make this a lifestyle. I don't like to call it like a diet. Like I do have a goal in mind, but then it's like I'm also excited soon. I'm close to going to the next phase. Oh, what would that be like? And I want to sustain it. I feel like all the other times, never. I would say I'm going to sustain it, but people they didn't always make it set up that way. So the investment is real. They're teaching me that even in a year from now, if I want to walk away, I will feel, and I already feel, okay, I have tools. I know what I need to do. I don't, yes, I need the accountability. I feel like I could actually go and sustain my life. And I wouldn't need you every day. But I feel like
Yeah.
there's other programs that are trying to almost make you need them for life. So in the end, you probably spend just as much more, or I don't know, where you don't like really learn about nutrition. Like I could give advice to some people, not that I'm the expert, but I could guide people. Well, make sure you have enough protein, make sure you're drinking enough water. Here's some like I found some new brands, and that's from the community that I didn't know about that people share. Like, oh, I love these protein bars. Never heard of them. Oh, they're really good. I like them too. Rodeo, I never heard of rodeo before. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these are the most amazing bagels and bread and it makes me feel good.
Yes.
There's less calories, and I'm actually full. I'm like, what? So yeah, so like those things are really like key. And then Weight Watchers isn't going to tell you, oh, go and find this brand or go and try and put these two things together, it'll make you feel better. It's use our points, eat our TV dinners.
I think that's the key is like if you're listening to Jessica and you're like, oh, I am her, and you are really wanting to have the final program, right? The last thing you'll have to do, not really a program, but more of a lifestyle. Um, this is a really great time if you're looking to lose, 10 to 15 pounds by summer and continue on permanently. It is possible and to feel confident. We are doing a Mother's Day special up until the 17th. So let us know. You can message me SPA to learn more. Messaging isn't committing, it's just saying you want to learn more information. You can also message Jessica if you have questions. I'm putting you on the spot. And she can tell you, I love what you shared. I love that you told, you show people how you have the tools and the skills. That is the goal, that this is the last thing to do because you understand what you need. So again, Jessica, thank you so much. Continue to light up our comment section. And Jessica, you are awesome. And if
What do
you
you
want to get the same results as Jessica and feel good and have that confidence to know what to do sustainably, PMS Spa. And I'd love to hear from you. Have a wonderful Tuesday, and I'll talk with you soon. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.